Now, I do not say these things to spoil your evening or to hear myself talk.
You are lying.
So I was gonna tell you Romeo and Juliet, but they talk kinda weird.
Doth mother know you weareth her drapes?
So instead, I'm gonna tell you more of a modern day version of it. So this one's called West Side Story.
An American tragedy.
So we start off in New York, where we check in on every single neighborhood before we meet up with this gang called the Jets. And these guys are the toughest guys around. They make jocks quiver in their boots, but they respect fellow graffiti artists because they chalk up the town too. But don't think that this makes them soft. Oh no, you don't want to mess with these guys. If you see them on the street, it's better to just clear a path. But they run into this guy whose name I think is Norman Bates? No, Bernardo. And they harass him for a bit, but then Bernardo meets up with his friends, the Sharks, who are also quite the badasses. And they go on the Jets' turf, so the Jets scare them off. They chase off the small groups. But the Sharks meet up, and they attack Baby John. The Jets run in to help, and a vicious fight breaks out. Some guys get their shirts dirty, and Baby John gets a cut on his face. It's pretty bad. Well, the police break up the fight, and Detective Schrank tells them that this is no place for violence.
You want to kill each other? Kill each other. But you ain't gonna do it at my beat.
He also says that if they don't stop fighting, somebody's gonna get hurt.
I'm gonna personally beat the living crud out of each and every one of you and see that you go to the can and rot there.
Well, this girl, Anybody's, wants to hang out with them, and they're like, go away.
Why won't they let a girl play with them?
Oh, I got scabby knees.
Well, it's the 50s, and it was a known fact that all girls have cooties.
Who don't? Captain Marvel.
This isn't what you're afraid of, is it?
Riff, I've had it.
But they go off and decide that this is their turf, and they want to defend it by having a big fight to keep the Sharks out.
Why do they want him out?
'Cause every Puerto Rican's a lousy chick.
Bix, Mick, what? She's too dark to pass.
Oh my god, how the hell do I tell her this?
Eating all the food.
Ooh, yeah, let's go with that. A food shortage sounds so much better than, racism.
This ain't kid stuff, Graziella.
But if they're gonna end up having a fight, they need to get this guy Tony back in the gang.
Who needs Tony? We need Tony.
He went off and got a job and doesn't want to get involved. Even though he's more mature and evolved than the rest of the gang,
Did you ever stop to figure how many bubbles there are in one bottle of this here soda pop?
Riff convinces him to meet him at the big dance tonight.
Who knows? Maybe what you're waiting for will be twitching at the dance tonight.
He gets excited about the dance and sings like a Disney princess to the women's underwear hanging above him.
Meet a guy, pull up a chair.
We then meet Maria, who's trying to convince her friend Anita that her dress needs to show off her boobs.
You must make the neck lower.
She's Bernardo's sister, and it seems like he likes her more than he likes his own girlfriend.
My sister is a precious jewel.
What am I? Cut glass?
At the dance, Tony and Maria find each other through whatever this is, and just kind of stare at each other for a really long time, while people goose step in the background.
Foreigners!
Bernardo then sees them kissing, and tells Chino to take her home, because Bernardo wants them to get married.
Someday, when you're an old married woman with 5 children, and you can tell me what to do. But right now, it is the other way around.
Riff goes up to Bernardo and tells him that he wants to have a war council meeting, and they're gonna meet up at the most dangerous place of all.
Doc's candy store?
Well, even though Tony got to the dance at 10, and the meeting is at midnight, the Sharks all make it back home and have an after party where they discuss how the food shortage is treating them.
Life is alright in America. If you're all white in America.
Well, it seems that Bernardo wants to go back to Puerto Rico, but then he goes to the candy shop to discuss the terms of the upcoming turf war.
Sometimes I don't know which is thicker, your skull or your accent.
And do you think you're being so helpful by telling the peoples they have accents when they do not have an accent?
Tony is running around the alleys of the Puerto Rican district yelling Maria's name, and somehow only attracts the one he's looking for. She also doesn't think that this is the least bit creepy. In fact, they sing to each other. But something feels off.
You dirty bunch of good for nothing. Why don't you go home where you belong?
There, fixed it. He tells her that he loves her after only knowing her name and kissing her twice.
And stalking her.
Oh yeah, we can't forget that. Well, they make plans for him to meet her after work tomorrow, and he runs off into the night.
From here on in, everything's gonna be alright.
I believe you.
At the candy shop, The Jets are waiting, and that girl still wants to join them. They make fun of her, and she beats up Baby John.
Nah, them head buses ain't got no manners.
Officer Krupke shows up. Apparently he's working a bunch of overtime, and tells them to go home. And then they make fun of him for caring about their safety.
Right, Officer Krupke, you're real square.
We also see that the candy shop is still open at midnight. I guess a bunch of people get the munchies in this neighborhood.
Our mothers all are junkies, our fathers all are drunks. With all their marijuana, they won't give me a puff.
Well, the sharks show up, and the teenagers kick out the owner of his own store.
I'm the village idiot.
They decide on the terms after Tony calls them chicken.
Afraid to slug it out? Afraid to use plain skin?
Not even garbage?
But Detective Shrank shows up and acts like his previous pep talk worked. He then kicks out the sharks and tells the Jets he's rooting for them.
So be sure to finish each other off, because if you don't, I will!
The next day, Anita catches Tony showing up to meet Maria, but instead of a romantic tryst, she tells him to stop the fight. And then they plan their wedding and call Tony's mom fat.
You ain't never gonna get married. Too ugly.
The Jets and the Sharks get ready for this big fight that only one of them will have to be in, but act like it's going to be this huge brawl.
We're gonna move like lightning.
And you're gonna crap thunder.
And Anita prepares for some after-fight relaxation.
1 inch. How much can 1 little inch do?
The fair fight starts, but then Tony steps in and Bernardo starts calling Tony a chicken, so Riff jumps in and starts to fight Bernardo. They pull out knives and Riff gets stabbed. Riff hands Tony his knife and he stabs Bernardo.
Then I'll live to regret this.
Maria waits for Tony, wondering how her plan to stop the fight went. I'm guessing she thinks it went well and not resulting in 2 deaths, including her brother. Chino comes in.
You have been fighting, Chino?
And Maria doesn't seem to understand how gangs work.
That was no rumble.
He tries to tell her about her brother's death, but she's more concerned with the well-being of a guy she just met yesterday.
Tell me, is Tony all right?
He killed your brother!
But when a small child who wasn't there confirms what just happened, she wants to die. Well, Tony shows up, and she instantly forgives him.
She isn't in love, she's merely insane.
He wants to take her away from all the toxicity around them, not realizing that he's now a fugitive.
And you're not frightened?
Should I be?
The Jets meet up, and Action wants revenge. Apparently, an eye for an eye isn't good enough. Ice comes in and tells them to be cool.
Get cool, boy. Real cool.
And they dance their feelings away. So now they're all fine.
We always walk tall. We're Jets, the greatest.
Anybody finds them and lets them know that Chino is looking for Tony and he has a gun. So they all separate to find him.
I'm very large with shadows, you know. I can slip in and out of them like wind. True offense.
Anita comes over and interrupts Tony and Maria, cuddling? And Anita is very upset that Maria cuddled with Tony.
Does she know that Tony killed her boyfriend?
Oh no, she knows. But she's more upset that she's cuddling with, a jet instead of a shark.
One of your own kind, stick to your own kind.
But Maria says that she loves him, and Anita's like, oh, okay, well, have fun.
It's all right. She likes us.
Anita asks if Maria knows that Tony killed her brother, and she's like, yeah, that's old news.
The poor girl is out of her mind. I am crazy.
Detective Shrank shows up to question Maria, so Maria sends Anita to meet with Tony. She makes it there, but the Jets attack her because she was with Bernardo. Because of this, she tells them that Chino killed Maria out of jealousy.
She's dead.
Doc goes down to the cellar and tells Tony what actually didn't happen. Because he's upset, he runs around town yelling for Chino to kill him.
Come and get me too, Chino!
Because the girl he just met died. He then sees Maria and runs to her, but Chino hurt him. I don't know how.
Chino! Chino! Come and get me too, Chino!
And shoots him. She sings him to death and blames them all for his death at gunpoint.
How many can I kill, Chino, and still have 1 bullet left for me?
And then the cops show up and let the gang members mess up their crime scene. And Baby John picks up her scarf, but doesn't know what to do with it, so he's just like, yeah, I'll just put this here. Well, I think if you're going to take anything away from this story, it's that it takes time to actually get to know somebody. I mean, these 2 kids were willing to die before they were comfortable enough to fart in front of each other. And in Romeo and Juliet, Juliet dies too. But in this one, we have no idea what happens to her. She could run off and marry Chino, or she could just go home and off herself. The possibilities are endless.
In America, nothing is impossible.
So what are we gonna do, huh, buddy boys? I'll tell you what we're gonna do.
We're gonna
subscribe to this channel.
You forgot to say goodbye.
Now go to bed.